There was a man who prayed every night with the same prayer, the same words, the same plea, the same question that had been sitting in him so long it had worn a groove in his heart. Why me? As far as I can see, I am the most miserable man on the face of the earth. Everyone around me seems to manage perfectly well. They laugh, they prosper, they carry their lives with ease. And I carry this. I'm not asking for bliss. I'm not asking for paradise. I'm asking for one thing only. Let me exchange my misery with somebody else's. Anybody will do. This is not asking much. He had been praying this prayer for years. Decades, some accounts say. And then one night, he dreamed. A great voice filled the sky of the dream. Gather your miseries into a bundle. Bring it to the temple. Tell everyone else to do the same. The man woke up, and for the first time in as long as he could remember, he was happy. So the moment has come. He gathered his miseries into a bundle, all of them, everything he had been carrying, every grief and disappointment and difficulty and injustice, packed it all up and walked to the temple. He was practically skipping. But as he arrived, he began to slow down. Because the other people arriving at the temple were carrying the most enormous bundles he had ever seen. His neighbors, whom he had always assumed were fine. The merchant who always smiled. The woman who seemed to have everything. The man whose laugh rang through the street every morning. All of them carrying bundles that made his look small. They placed their bundles around the temple hall. The voice spoke again. Now, choose any bundle you like. It is yours to take home. What happened next has been told and retold for 1,000 years because it is so completely, perfectly human. The man looked at the bundles around the room. Some were larger than he had imagined possible. Some were strangely shaped, the grief inside them visible in the way they sat on the floor. Some were very quiet, and some of them moved slightly, as if what was inside was still alive and restless. He thought of his own bundle. He knew exactly what was in it. He had carried it long enough to know its weight, its shape, the way it sat on his shoulders, the specific quality of its discomfort. It was his. And before he knew what he was doing, he rushed toward it, afraid that someone else would take it first. He looked around. Everyone else had done exactly the same thing. Every person in that temple had rushed to their own bundle and was holding it with something that looked almost like relief. They walked home carrying the same bundles they had arrived with. Nothing had changed. And yet somehow, every one of them was smiling. The teaching is not that our suffering is small. It is not asking us to pretend that what we carry is nothing. It is pointing at something much more specific. That we spend so much of our lives looking at other people's faces and concluding that their bundle must be lighter than ours. We see their smile. We do not see what they packed this morning. We see their ease. We do not see what they are carrying underneath it. And the man who had prayed for decades to exchange his misery with anyone grabbed his own bundle back before anyone else could take it. Not because it was light, but because it was known. I'll leave you with one question today. Whose bundle have you been looking at and assuming it is lighter than yours? This has been The Long Thread. Ancient stories for the present moment. If this story stayed with you, follow the long thread and wake up to a new one tomorrow.